It's Monday, April 9th. Just finished doing all my meds and my insulin and that, and before I go out and have something to eat, I thought I'd just shoot you a little message here, talk what's been going on. Last Tuesday I had the chemo. I think I told you that. Things intensified. Side effects. Pain. Sensitivity to cold. Lightheadedness, dizziness. Weak. I use pretty much my cane now to get around everywhere, including in the house. Other issues other than that, those are just intensified. I don't know if I told you, when I first started this, there was some magic number that they looked at. It was 300, and that it had to do, I think, with I don't know, liver and other stuff. Anyhow, that went up to 6,000. Well, after the last chemo, a few days later, they called and said that had dropped down now to like 4,700, which indicates that the chemo is having some kind of effect. But this is my third session, and I go from 6,000 to 4,700 is good, but I've got at least 3 more sessions left, and I need to. If it was at 300 and they thought that was high, I'm hoping that this last one and a few more now, well, if I can drop like 500 to 1,000 every time, maybe I can get it down, and if I can handle it, maybe they'll do more than 6. I don't know. It's a matter of me being able to survive the chemo, which you'll find isn't the side effects. My wife's been good. I know she's scared to death about this whole thing, and so am I. It would have been nice to have been able to continue on with all those side things, but that's not the hand I was dealt, so we'll just do the best we can. I think hopefully you got a chance to see it. Did a short thing to show you what my chemo room looked like where I go. People are good. You go in, you sit, do whatever. I usually take my wife's laptop and try and clean it up, and because the TV in the hospitals is not the greatest in the world. Other than that, that's kind of what's been going on there. Let's see. Make sure you ask questions when you go, and you make sure you understand. And sometimes it's scary to ask what you want to ask. It's even scarier when you get the answers that you think you're going to get, or the ones that you didn't expect. Through this whole thing, people have been saying, well, you need to keep up, be confident. And, that's easy to say and hard as hell to do. Because especially depends on what type you have and where it is. The doctors usually are pretty straightforward if you ask them to be. It's hard. It's hard on you. It's hard to see what happens when you're like my wife. She doesn't break down in front of me, but I know after the last time we were at Mayo, we came home. I was talking to my boys here over the last holiday, and I said, your mother's being strong, and I said, not as strong, Dad, as you think, because when she got home and was alone, she called and she was just hysterical, so crying and everything. So for your relatives, your spouse, your kids, or whatever, I've been straightforward with mine because I trying to be positive when they're talking about these numbers, but because of that big delay, I don't anticipate that the good results at the end. I would have loved to. When I was at, that number was, instead of 6,000, was at 300. If I could have had the chemo there and got it down, who knows? Maybe I would have got several years. Maybe even been one of those lucky 6%ers that made it 5 years. But right now, they're doing this because there's nothing else they can do. And I don't know, we'll see. Anyhow, kind of be sensitive to them. Grandkids and that are still, making their comments, but my little 4-year-old granddaughter that you probably saw in one of the videos here, she was playing with the little neighbor girl who was 5 and her brother who was 6. And they were playing in the back room. The little neighbor girl and her were playing with dolls, Barbies. And I overheard her say, no, you can't do that with that baby because that baby has cancer, so she has to be treated different. So, you see that it's in their head, but she's 4. She doesn't know, and she won't remember. 6, 7-year-olds, maybe. I'm hoping to make it through this and have some time with them so they will remember. The 10-year-old, my 10-year-old grandson's having a hard time, which is hard on me. His dad has been they're separated, so he gets to see his dad on weekends, and we used to get him all the time, and now we don't. He goes right to his dad's, and I know his dad, last time I talked to him, he said, well, it's real hard on my grandson because we were so close. So his dad, I think, is kind of trying to buffer him a little bit so that he doesn't come over and see me, limping around with the cane and stuff like that. But so expect those things and have to deal with them. Sleeping. Last night I was up 4 times, which really isn't bad. When I first started this and went through some stuff, I was up every 45 minutes, which was just a nightmare. And but doing okay now. So I take Ensure every day. The Ensure Boost Ensure. It's like 350 calories, but it's got like 10 to 15 grams of protein. Because they told me keep your protein up. And my diet's changed dramatically. Now, if I were in California, I guess I'd be okay because the way I've heard some of those people eat with it's all healthy, excuse me, and they probably don't have these issues. But I'll tell you, for a Midwesterner who comes from the type of background I do with blue collar, most of my people are farmers. Although I was raised pretty much here in the city area. Anyhow, it's different because, I love my food and my breads, and it's hard sometimes to do without those, but I'm working on it. Anyhow, you guys make sure that you ask questions, and if there's other things going on, don't just take it for granted. You've got the rights to say no, or you want to question things. Don't worry about it. Question it. And what are they going to do? Kill you? Anyhow, I'm rambling now, so I'll maybe talk a little later. I'm not sure. I'll start telling you some of my stories about the stuff that happened when I was in the hospitals and how they were trying to ship me out to other locations because insurance is like Congress. Money is money, and same thing in hospitals. The insurance companies push real hard, get their maximum dollar amount, but if it looks like, this is it, now it's been 6 days, move them on. You're going to have those pressures too. You might not. If you have full coverage on everything, that's fine. It turns out that I don't have Medicare Part B because I'm 100% disabled vet, and the VA is supposed to cover everything, which it has, but it throws in some real curves as far as trying to get them to pay, especially maybe not if you're in the VA facility, but if you're outside the VA facility, definitely issues trying to get everything pre-approved, and VA wants to do this, they want to do that. But even within the veterans hospitals and mid, I was 911 to one, a big one, and they got to a point and said, well, no, we're not going to, you need to go back to your other one, because they designate a primary location, And so I had been 911 to one that was closer, only like an hour away, but it wasn't my primary location. Well, they wanted me to make that my primary location instead of the other location. And, I've been with the other one for years, and I didn't want to switch back. Also because about 15 years ago, my opinion, I just about died at the primary one. Fortunately, I had insurance, but keep in mind that just about every hospital, you're going to get what I've run into is you have the main doctor, okay, who's supposed to coordinate with all the other groups. If it's cancer now, if it's strictly cancer and you're in a hospital, you'll see your oncologists and stuff. But they coordinate and they lose track of who's doing what. Sometimes they say, well, I'm going to have that done, and it's already been done. It was mentioned and these people took care of it. And then you're going to have the core doctor who's supposed to coordinate everything. And don't take for faith that they're always doing that. And then they're going to have resident 1 or 2, sometimes 1, sometimes 2. I got to a point where I was making a joke. It's like the cat in the hat with thing 1 and thing 2. Because sometimes it'll be a 2-year resident, sometimes a 1. So keep in mind that when you're there, your oncologist is typically, been through all of this stuff, but some of these other people are in training. They're doctors, but they're still in training for specific things. Anyhow, I'm looking at the time. It's going on 12 minutes, and I'm rambling. So you guys take care, and I'll talk again.